Hi everyone, Peter here once again. Thanks for joining me for another video. So here I am on a beautiful day at the top of my apartment building here in central Sukhumvit. It's very nice. It's high season, which means the temperature is quite low at the moment. It's probably about 27-28 degrees. That's quite low for Bangkok anyway. So today's upload, what we're going to talk about today, we're going to talk about something that's been talked about quite a lot by a lot of different people, and that is, has Thailand become too expensive? Is it too expensive now to visit as a tourist destination, or are you one of those people who thinks it's still pretty good value for the money? So I've been here for about 3 weeks now in my apartment. Well, I was a week in a hotel. I've moved into my apartment now. I've been out and about quite a bit, and I think I've got a good grasp of prices. I'm also going to be talking about a controversial subject as well, and that is the cost of spending time with girls, because it's a fact of life. There are guys who come here and they want female company. You know, they might be single, divorced, whatever. They come to Thailand, they want a holiday girlfriend, and you know, you have to pay the girl for a time. So I've done some research on that as well. I'm going to be talking about that a little bit later on in the video. So before I get into this video, let me tell you about the two types of people I'm not talking about, okay? So I'm not going to be talking about your traditional backpackers, you know, those guys who come on a shoestring budget. They sleep in hostels, 10, 12 to a room. Maybe they pay $7 a night, £7 a night, whatever. They eat street food, and they get as much free entertainment as they can. They hang out on beaches. I'm not going to talk about them because obviously they do it on the cheap. The other type of people I'm not going to be talking about is the guys who have got a girlfriend here, and they come periodically, a couple of months a year, whatever, and their girlfriend might have a room up in Isan. So what they do when they fly in, they come to Bangkok, maybe they spend one night, or they go straight up to the village in Isan and they live with their Thai girlfriend. They eat all their food outside in Thai street food or on Thai markets, and they live in a room with a Thai girlfriend, and there's virtually no expense. Okay, so that's two groups of people I'm not going to talk about. Now the people I am talking about are people like myself, guys who come out here and typically stay in hotels, not necessarily expensive hotels, budget hotels, 2-3 star, and guys who, they come out here, they'll stay in hotels, and their entertainment is they like to go out to bars, they like to go out to restaurants, they like to do tours. They're the sort of people I'm going to talk about, and that's the kind of pricing I'm going to get into. And as I said earlier on, we're going to talk about the cost of the female company as well. Okay, so recently I was watching another YouTuber, and he was talking about the same subject in a roundabout way, and what he said is that he'd actually heard other people say that it's expensive, but in his view, he said Bangkok was still very good value for money. Now this particular guy, when he goes out, a lot of the time what he'll do, he'll eat these hot dog sausages or pork. You must have seen them if you've been here before. They have food carts on the road, and you can buy all these like chicken strips and pork, and it's dirt cheap. The other thing he does is he'll sit on the roadside, so you'll get a pop-up little bar. You know, some lady will come along and put up an aluminium table, and she's serving these big bottles of chang for maybe half the price of a bar. So that's what he does. You know, he'll sit on one of those aluminium tables, he'll drink chang, he'll eat pork and chicken from a street vendor. Yeah, okay, it's going to be cheap, but most guys don't want to spend their time doing that. You know, they stay in a hotel, and they want to, when they go out to eat, someone like myself, now I can cook, I've got a kitchen, so I'm not cooking elaborate meals. I can do snacks and small meals, but your average guy who's staying in a hotel, he hasn't got cooking facilities, and what he'll do, he'll go out to a restaurant, a local cafe, something like that. And, so is Bangkok more expensive than it used to be? In my opinion, I'll give you my opinion. I'm allowed to have an opinion like everybody else. I think it is. I think it's very expensive now. Typical example, I went out and did a live stream on Sunday night. I won't name the venue, the restaurant, but there is a close by where I live, there's quite a nice bar. I sat in there and I had a couple of draft beers. Pint of beer, it was 240 baht, which is about £7 or $8 US. Well, you're talking UK prices. That you can get a pint of beer a lot cheaper than that in the UK. You go into your average beer bar, go-go bar, whatever, you're talking anywhere between 140 and 180 baht for a small bottle of Leo, a small bottle of Chang, something like that. Food wise, again, you know, I met a couple of subscribers. I met a guy called Daniel. We went up the road. I don't know what his bill was, but I do know I also went for lunch with a guy called Bernie, very nice guy. We were going to meet in the Huntsman in the Landmark Hotel, but unfortunately it's closed now, and we've been told the Huntsman's closed for good, which is a shame because that was a great place to go for a pint of Guinness. Anyway, I suggested to Bernie we go over to the Arab Quarter at the back of Soi 3, and there's a kind of Arabic / Indian restaurant there, and they have the food all in bambaris laid out, and I said to Bernie, it's good food, it's wholesome, and it's tasty, and it's quite reasonable price. I eat there very often. I can get a meal for 200 baht, which is about £5, and being it Indian / Arabic, it fills you up. It's all rice and dal and chicken and all that sort of thing. So we went over there, and the thing is, if you take what's on the buffet, yeah, it's relatively cheap. You can get a naan bread for 30 baht, you can get some rice relatively cheap as well. But what Bernie did, he took one meal, one dish off the menu, and it was a lamb curry. So the bill came to 700 baht, and I, just out of interest, I looked through the bill, and that one dish, that one, you know, when you go to an Indian restaurant, if you have a madras curry and rice, the madras will come out in a nice metal brass, almost brass, I don't know what you call it, but it's an individual portion. Well, that's how Bernie's lamb curry came out, and that was 350 baht for that one dish of about that size. It wasn't very big. He ended up leaving half of it because he was full anyway, but 350 baht, you're talking about £8, $9 US. Now that is very expensive. We're not talking about a 5-star hotel or fine dining, we're just talking about a run-of-the-mill restaurant, and you're paying $9 US for a small meal like that. So yeah, I think it is quite expensive. Some of the things that haven't changed prices, which are still good value. Obviously the taxis, if they put the meters on, if you can get them to put the meters on, they're not expensive. Taxis are still relatively good value. The BTS, the overhead train, obviously that's good value. Not everything's expensive, but generally speaking, when you go out for meals, drinks, hotels, that sort of thing, yeah, prices are, in my opinion, they have got very, very expensive. So let's talk about that controversial subject, girls, right? Okay, so it's a fact of life, as I said at the beginning of the video. When guys go out, single guys, divorced guys, whatever, they'll come out here and they want to hook up with some female company, because let's face it, if you go out on your own, it's kind of boring. If you've got some company, it's much more fun, isn't it? Especially female company. So I met yet another subscriber here, a guy called Eddie, and we decided, because we didn't know prices, and we decided to do a little bit of market research on this. So we thought, right, well, what we'll do, we'll go out tonight, have a few beers, but we'll go to different venues, and what we'll do, we'll ask the price. Simple as that. How much is ST? Yeah, so we went to several different venues, and we asked prices. So let me talk about Therme Cafe now. Therme Cafe's, if you haven't been there before, it's down on Sukhumvit, around Soi 11. Been there for probably 40 years. It's just a basement of a hotel. It's full of freelancers, and there's a lot of Japanese and Korean guys in there now. So when we went in there, we asked, I think Ed asked about 3 girls, I asked about 3 girls, how much is short time, basically, and the average price we got was 3,000 baht. That was the price. Okay, freelancers probably a few years ago, 1,500 baht, so about 3,000. But initially we thought, wow, that's really expensive, but actually when you think about it, it isn't, because the price that everybody else is charging, and we'll get into that as well, you're not buying any because they're freelancers, so you go in there, you're not buying any ladies drinks. Now again, that's something else that's gone through the day. Ladies drinks, in the old days, for easy numbers, you'd buy a beer for 100 baht, a ladies drink would be 60 baht. Nowadays your beer is 150 baht, her drink's 250 baht. Okay, so it soon mounts up. So we asked these girls in Therme. He asked 3, I asked 3, and the average price was about 3,000 baht. And we thought, well, wow, that's really expensive. But actually, when you think about it, there's no ladies' drinks involved, and there's no bar fines. So you take that out of the equation, it's kind of reasonable, isn't it? It's not that bad, actually. So initially, we thought it was expensive. Now let's talk about expensive. So we then went to the Tilak bar in Soi Cowboy. Now they have 2 classes of girls in there. They've got your regular girls who work for the bar. Bar fine's 600 baht, I think it was, but they have what they call the coyote dancers. And if you don't know what a coyote dancer is, that's when a bar doesn't have enough girls. They can go to an agency and they'll bring girls to dance. These girls, they don't just work in go-go bars, they do like car shows, motorbike shows. You know, in Japan they call them race girls. You know, they're nice looking girls in mini skirts, hang out in these venues. And so they hire these girls. They call them coyote girls. You can always tell them because they always dress the same, or they've got these sparkly belts. Now, I asked the one of the waitresses in there, you know, these coyote girls, what do they charge? And she said the bar fine was 1,300 baht. Now that'll make your eyes water. It did mine. So 1,300 baht just for the bar fine. Okay. If you want to take her out, it's 3,000 baht. You want to take a girl out and for some company, she's going to ask you 3,000 baht. Now you're not going to just pull her off stage and go out. You're going to buy her a drink, get to know her. You want to see if you know, you get on with her okay. So you think about it, the ladies' drinks there, they're 200 baht, and I'm not particularly picking on that bar. This is generally most of the bars in Soi Khao, but it's the same kind of prices. So you know, you're talking probably 1 or 2 drinks before you go on your way. There's 400 baht, 1,300 baht for the bar fine. What's that? About 1,700 baht already, isn't it? And then another 3,000. Well, you know, you do the maths. It's more than £100. You're talking UK prices again. Okay, freelancers on Sukhumvit Road. They're just 2,000 baht. They won't negotiate. That's it. It's 2,000 baht. Go over to Nana Plaza. You're talking go-go bars. You're talking up to 1,000 baht on a bar fine. Same sort of price on ladies' drinks, 250. You might be lucky and get 1 or 2 bars that will charge 150 for a ladies' drink. Very rare though. And again, the girls will ask you for a minimum of 2,000 to 3,000 baht. Okay, so when you come here, don't expect to do it on the cheap. If that's, you know, if you are a regular kind of guy who's coming, you know, on that kind of a vacation. And so I'm not including the backpackers and the guys who go up to stay with their girlfriends up in Isan. Let's talk a little bit about Pattaya, because I was down there for 2 months. That is much better value. It's much better value. People ask me, why am I living in Bangkok when it's such good value in Pattaya? I'm running my YouTube channel. Well, the reason for me, I'm not a great fan of Pattaya. You know, it's a great place to go for a weekend or a week, spend time on the beach, party for a couple of nights, but you know, I get fed up of it. It gets a bit much. And the thing is, in Bangkok, yes, they do have that here, but it's in pockets, it's in certain areas. But generally, you know, this is a cosmopolitan city. It's got everything. It's a capital. I love it. I don't think there's a better place in the world. But as far as pricing goes, yes, definitely Pattaya is much cheaper. You're talking on average 1,500 baht for you know, the company of a female, a girl, and probably anywhere between around 500 baht for the bar fine, maybe 400 baht, like that. Your drinks are very cheap. You can go in a go-go bar and get a draft beer for 59 baht in LK Metro. I did that. There's a time bar also in LK Metro. They do beer, Leo, Chang, whatever, up until midnight for 50 baht, and then they're charging, I think it's 60, 70, something like that. You go across the road to the Billabong bar, 120 baht for a beer, but you get one free, so it works out 60 baht each. Meals, yeah, again, you know, you can get a good breakfast, 140, 150 baht. There's places that do it cheaper. Kung's is very good. No, I'm not getting any backhanders or anything, but it is very, very good. So, you know, to wrap this video up, all I'd say is, if you watch these videos where, you know, guys say, oh, I live in Thailand on $1,000 a month and I'm having a ball, and you know, we recently went to Thailand and it was dirt cheap, we hardly spent anything. It just isn't true. It isn't true. So don't be misled by those videos. I do know one guy, he comes out here, well, I'll name him, Andrew Hammond. He put my book together for me, and he likes to do things on the cheap. He sees it as a bit of a challenge, which, fair play to him. You know, I mean, I can't holiday the same way as he does, but I have learned some tips off him. For instance, I used to take a taxi from here to Pattaya, or Pattaya back to Bangkok. You're talking anywhere between sort of 1,100 baht up, and he said, why didn't you take the bus? You know, it's air conditioned, 131 baht. I did it, and it's great. It stops at Edgar Meyer. The BTS is there, so he converted me. You know, I'll take the bus to Pattaya from now on. You know, but he's the sort of guy. Every meal he has, he'll eat on the street, or he'll go to a typical Thai food court, something like that. You know, and I can't eat Thai food. I love Thai food, but I can't eat it every day, every meal. You know, when he recently went up to Bangkok from Pattaya, he stayed in a capsule hotel. You know, just like a pod. But I think it was £7 a night. So yeah, you know, he travels on buses, he eats on street food, you know, he stays in hostels with 10 other people sleeping in the room, and that's fair enough. I mean, if he likes doing that, you know, I'm not knocking him, but it's not the way I do things, you know. And I'm guessing a lot of guys out there are similar to me. You know, you stay in a half decent hotel, you like to go out to bars, eat decent food, and you know, it's a fact of life now. It's just not cheap here anymore if you intend to come out and vacation in that way. Now I am particularly talking about Bangkok as opposed to other parts of Thailand. I've only been to Pattaya on this trip. Now, as you know, I am actually residing here full time now. I've got my long-term visa, my bank account, my driving licenses. I'm all set up now, but I do have to go back to the UK in February because my house sale is going through. I have the apartment, everything's set up, which is great. But when my house finally goes through, I'll be here full time, and that's when I intend to go out to the provinces and see what's going on as far as prices. And I might even take it one step further and, you know, jump on a plane. I think you can fly to Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam for about $40 now, $50. It's dirt cheap, you know. And again, the Philippines, I haven't been to the Philippines for probably 30 years, you know. I'd like to go there and spend some time there and make some videos. Okay, so, you know, you let me know, guys, what do you think? You know, I mean, it's absolutely rammed, it's packed at the moment, Bangkok. You know, leave your comments in the description underneath. Let me know, do you think it's expensive now? Are you one of those guys who can come out here on a budget and live on next to nothing? How do you do it? You know, are you living in hostels? Do you eat street food? Or, you know, have you got some life hacks that you can help other people with, you know? But for now, it's getting rather warm up here on the rooftop of my apartment building. This umbrella's helped a lot that I've managed to find. Okay, so until the next time, I think I'm on a live stream next. I'll catch you on that one. But thanks for joining me today. As I say, leave your comments in the description. Let me know, is Bangkok expensive or do you think it's still cheap? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.